What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. BobbyFi with the man, Eric Sheets-Haber. Was a little concerned about whether or not we'd be having games tonight. We'd have less than we originally thought we would, but it looks like we're a go. It's going to be a standby and wait and see kind of a situation all year, I think. But for now, we're good to go, and we're ready to attack it. Sheets, any thoughts? That was a nightmare night for me last night. I basically, all of my small buy-ins, every lineup I whittled down, nailed it, and then every lineup at the top that I spent any real money on got crushed. So not great for me. How about you?
No, I mean I did a run on DraftKings, but on FanDuel it was kind of a nightmare actually.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. What are your any sort of first thoughts about tonight? Like the slate, I feel like there's
So this Dallas, the main sources, I guess not the main source, but two big source of value is going to come from Dallas and New Orleans. So we're gonna have to deal with that. But I don't know, they did that's kind of fun. I mean, I kind of like these slates where you could take those the last couple of days slate, even though it doesn't work out. I kind of like that setup like that. I mean, I was pretty sure with what I wanted to do yesterday, and problem was is like as opposed to the other day where remember the all that Philly value, like only two of them basically got there.
right,
Like yesterday, literally everybody got there,
right.
including, and we just knew this, that the Uber troll got there, the Danny
That's
Green.
ridiculous. Like that's that, man. Like absolutely ridiculous. No, I mean, you know what? We did call it. We talked about it, and we also. I said it even with this. I have zero intention of playing Danny Green. Now he doesn't have to go and nearly break the record for 3-pointers in a game, but come on, like
Right.
it was pretty bad. Like if he puts up half those fantasy points, probably
Yeah.
he'd make a lot of money the night before. Anyway, all right. Well, on to tonight. What are we gonna do? Let's start first.
I'm not. You're gonna. I'm not. See, I'm not. I don't want to play freaking Boban, Bobby. I, I,
Don't do it.
I really don't. I don't know where ownership's going to come
Why
in. I
is
mean,
he locked for minutes? I don't understand what this thinking is.
yeah, I don't know either.
So against Denver, just to want to point this out, and we kind of maybe missed the boat on this a little bit, although it didn't really matter. It's not like he would have helped you that night, but he does always play minutes against Jokic. Every single time they play, he plays 15 minutes or more. I don't see why we're going to project him for 15 minutes right now, even with bodies out. Like, why do they need to play Boban against a team that doesn't have a big man?
Yeah, I mean, and between what's his name, between Willie Cauley-Stein, who could play 25 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, he could play more.
And James Johnson, who could probably play some five. Yeah. And if they let what's his name play 20-25 minutes, I'm sure Kristoff could play some five. I mean, I don't
five. Yeah, I don't see it either.
I don't see the real need to play if Boban ends up getting owned, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So if he's low owned, absolutely take a shot there. Absolutely. If he's anywhere above double digit ownership, I'm just gonna probably completely stay away. That's my current plan. Again, things are gonna change. It's a long day. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do the afternoon show today because I have to go to the doctor and I have to pick my friend up from the hospital. So
all right. I'll take care of it
then. Two little unfortunate things I have to do. But yeah, so what I mean, like I think that like Luka is he's the best play on the slate, right? Like for a value, he's the best spend up on the slate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I mean, I guess you could say KD.
I think it's close enough, but I think that he's the best, and I really think that there are a lot of options though. I mean, I think you could between Durant. We'll get to them, but Durant, Giannis, Lillard, AD. I mean, I even LeBron. I mean, I think you pay up for all these guys. Honestly, I don't think Luka's a huge standout. I really don't.
We may get okay.
I mean, I like it. He's the best. Like he's the best. You tell me who I would play in one lineup. You know what I mean? Like he'd probably be the best.
The only thing with and again, I just want to remind people about Luka. This man is not in shape. Okay. It's not even a question. If you watch the games, this guy is probably 15 pounds overweight. I think he thought the season was going to start in March, and I think that he ate his way. He was ready to work himself back into shape before then, but he's absolutely not in shape. Doesn't mean that he's not going to go off. I still love him. He's still my favorite play right now. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And unless we get I guess I didn't realize that AD at 9K is kind of getting a little bit silliness. But yeah, anyway, Luka's my first thought is the best play on the slate.
Wait, what did you say?
Anthony Davis is 9K on DraftKings.
That's really bizarre.
That doesn't make any, like, why did they drop in LeBron is 96? Like, why did they drop their prices of these guys? What is going on here? All right, guys. All right, whatever. Yeah, so, and by the way, back to back on the road. I'm assuming that these guys are going to play, and they've been sort of coasting. They won the game easily last night, but look, just always be ready for it, obviously, and we'll get into that game when it comes up. But I think right now, my like, look, James Johnson, Luka, they're guys you're going to want in some lineups. You obviously can't play KP yet, but we're going to be ready to do it.
Wait, hold on. What about, is Willie Cauley-Stein not the best player, or no?
I guess he is one of them. It's a good point. So let me think about this for a second. So the minutes against Charlotte, I actually think would tend to go towards James Johnson because he can play with Porzingis. He could use him as the 3 if you want to in certain spots. Boy, it's a little bit of a tough one. Yeah, I guess that I would have to put James Johnson and Willie Cauley-Stein close because of the center eligibility, and there are some centers I like tonight. I think maybe James Johnson gets a little bit of the edge. I think he'll play it probably about the same minutes, and he's a little more productive per minute than Luka is. They don't really need to play bigs in this game. We have Biyombo on the other side who will play, his minutes, but this team, and then you've got, Porzingis going to play a bunch. I think there's some element of risk with both these guys. I do think Porzingis seems to me that he would directly cut into Cauley-Stein more than he might James Johnson. That's just my first thought.
Yeah.
And James Johnson, we've had this, like, he's a little bit of a streak guy, and he also can. He's probably the toughest guy you wouldn't want to fight in the NBA. So he's always they got him to be the Luka protector. So I just keep in mind that he's a little bit of a wild card, this guy in general, with everything he does. So, but I think I would go like James Johnson over Willie Cauley-Stein right now. But I do think that they're both really strong plays. It's just going to be weird because the minutes will probably level out a little bit, and Porzingis plays 25. By the way, once Porzingis gets to 30, we're in on him. I really am. I think this guy is a walking, 45 to 65, 75 type of guy.
I agree with that.
Anything else on the Dallas side that I'm missing? Like, that's a lot, but Luka, Willie Cauley-Stein, James Johnson stand out. Anybody else for you?
No, the only guy even on Charlotte is LaMelo. I don't like anybody else over there.
Yeah, I sort of wanted to run it back a little bit with something over here. And look, by the way, we got to give some props to LaMelo. People talk about your dad, they say whatever. This dude has been, he's awesome. He's fun to watch. He's like literally like the best rebounding guard in the history of basketball. And I don't know. If I were Charlotte, I know they're doing okay, but like I would do everything I can to get this guy on the court for 35 minutes. And if you told me LaMelo was going to play 35 minutes, I would be in. The fact that he never really cracks much past that 30-minute tier is a little bit bothersome, but I do like LaMelo. And I think that we could play Gordon Hayward too if you get enough Dallas. Gordon Hayward is, it's just a heat check type of thing, and it's a good matchup for him. That's basically my argument for him here. The other guy is Devontae Graham with the minutes. It's 35, 32, 36, 39 the last games. He's 6,200. If he was below 6K, I think he would be the popular early weight lead for a lot of people. But because he's not, I think that they're just avoiding it. So I actually think all those guys are in play. But for me, you're like you said at the beginning, I think that LaMelo is probably the best play.
Well, the other thing is, I don't know if you're a believer in this stuff, but LaMelo's been getting a lot of, and deservedly so, like a lot of good publicity and all this stuff. Might this be like the game that Luka wants to just destroy people?
Yeah, the problem is I don't know if he's able to. Like, you know what I mean?
I get that.
He's been really good. Like like we saw it against Harden. He went nuts against Houston. More from a fantasy perspective, he wasn't actually. The odd thing about Luka in these games is that the Denver game and that game, he was okay. He was pretty good in the Denver game, but not nearly as good as these numbers would indicate. But that's fine by us. We don't care about how he looks. We just want the points.
Remember that was overtime in the Denver game. We don't forget that.
Yeah, no, that's true. I know he got, but he was. I think he was around 65 or 70 before, somewhere in that range before the overtime started. But yeah, it's not like he's. I don't think he looks great, but I do think that he is. he's the man here tonight for me, at least as of right now.
Okay. All right. Milwaukee, Detroit. Yeah.
Call it a
So
blowout here. I'm going to predict this one.
it would seem so, right? Does it seem that these guys play every day?
You know, maybe just because to Detroit, everybody is the best team in the East. I don't know, like
I guess.
they're so bad. It does feel like Bobby Porter's season to me.
It does. You know what you could do? I mean, like if you're really a sneaky one of those guys, you could play either Giannis or Portis, and not both. Like you could try that.
Honestly, like that wouldn't be the worst like thing to do every day. Giannis really killed me the other day. Like, I'll tell you what, Giannis. I'm not even sure that we can say that Giannis is worth his price entirely anymore. Like he's looked bad too.
He hasn't done anything.
He's looked really bad. He doesn't look like he's playing good basketball either. And I feel like his confidence almost looks shaken a little bit or something. I don't know. He doesn't seem like the same guy to me. He doesn't seem like the enforcer. Too many jump shots, in my opinion. I know he's shooting well from 3-point range actually lately.
You know what? Because he's screwing around. You know what I mean? Like
You're right. I think that's exactly right. I think you nailed it. He's just screwing around, and no interest in him for DFS. Obviously, he can always put up 75.
I'm gonna put in Portis in here just to remind myself.
That's what I just did the same thing. I think Portis is this game just screams Bobby Portis. You have a terrible defensive team in Detroit, a team that is in Milwaukee that is just, for some reason seems to blow out or get blown out most nights. And I think Detroit will oblige. So I think it is a Bobby Portis night for me. I don't really have any love for anybody else in this game.
Hey, before we leave, by the way, that Dallas game, you're usually really good with this. Would you play, or would you necessarily not play James Johnson, Willie Cauley-Stein in the same lineup?
Because Porzingis is back, probably not.
Okay.
But I don't think it's that bad. Like they're so cheap where you probably still get away with it, I think.
Okay.
But I don't think it's ideal.
Okay. All right. So Brooklyn, New York. I mean, you want to play Durant and Randall together? I mean, you want to run that thing?
That's a legit thing. And I really like this on the back-to-back. I also I'll tell you what, Kevin Durant right now, I know he shot the ball well, and that might be it's weird because I watched that game and it didn't stand out to me that he was shooting the ball well. Maybe it's because he missed a bunch of shots early on, but he looks determined. He looked awesome in that game. And I think if we look at Durant's numbers, it's the biggest misprice you can possibly have. This guy's averaging without Kyrie 60 fantasy points a game. He's 9,400. Let's just play him. We can find ways to get there. We want to play him. I don't know that we need to go to the other side, but I am interested in it. It's how do we get Randall? How do I get Randall, KD, and Luka? And also, is Randall he probably is a better player than Anthony Davis. They made him too cheap also.
Look at Bruce Brown showing out last night at 10.
Get out of here. All these guys, but again, perfect situation. Bruce Brown, what happens? The team they got Durant back. Of course he's going to make some shots. They get Ben Simmons, and of course Danny Green goes nuts.
Yeah. Because
they don't benefit from these guys being out like people think. If he's starting with Durant, he's in play. I don't know if I'm going to end up going there though. I don't think I could do it.
Okay.
I mean, look, I don't think it's a bad idea. If
he's going to start. He's going to start, Bruce Brown.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
No, he's been pretty starting matchup dependent. He started last night because Denver, you have Jamal Murray, and they don't want to put Joe Harris, and they're basically Kevin Durant is their point guard. So he was their point guard. He was also trying to guard Jokic, which obviously didn't work out very well.
Well, yeah. I will suggest to you, by the way. I mean, just before we toss him to the curb, but when you're going to have a rather chalky Mr. Alexander Walker at 3,100, might not be the worst thing in the world to find another $3,100, $3,300 guard.
I get it. I hear you. You got to make sure he's starting though, because if he's not starting, he might play 5 minutes, 2 minutes.
That is true.
And also, you know, he had to be like, he was tearing it up last night. He made every shot he took basically.
Right.
And he had 3 blocks. Like,
Yeah.
We can't expect that again. I don't think.
Well, I mean, that's why they have him in pretty much. I mean, he's a pretty good defender.
Yeah. But he's not a guy, even as a good defender, he's always been a very good defender. He's never been a shot block.
No one's getting 3 blocks a game from that position.
It just doesn't happen very often unless you're Dwayne Wade or something. But yeah, I think it's just, I mean, look, dude, yeah, maybe I have to reconsider my build because KD feels hard not to like lock in. It really does. Maybe it is KD and the Randall show. Like, it does feel like Randall is a matchup problem for this Brooklyn team. And just watching Brooklyn play, it feels like everyone's a matchup problem for them. They don't play defense. Julius Randle feels like a really strong play as well. So obviously KD over Julius Randle, but I do think Julius Randle's in play. And by the way, if we might get this guy again at low ownership, I'll take Mitchell Robinson again. I have no problem with that. I love the centers versus Brooklyn. You'll hear me talk about it all the time. It just, when you have centers who pursue shot blocking and a team that plays fast, you're going to end up with a lot of putbacks. If you have a team that's aggressive on the other side, like Brooklyn is, and going to the basket, you're going to have shot blocking opportunities. So I like Mitchell Robinson here, as I guess, basically to sum it all up.
I think they priced me out of LeVert.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, when he gets going, man, like there was a minute in the second quarter where I was watching that game yesterday and I was like, oh, this is another one. LeVert's going to put up 65 fantasy points. He looks amazing.
Yeah. 8K is a tough tag. But
on this slate especially, I'm not going to end up there, but don't be surprised if he does break it sometime. What bothers me about Brooklyn too, like what are they doing? Why is he playing 26 minutes last night? Why, like this guy can play 40 minutes in a game. I don't know why you don't just have him on the court all the time. Like play him all the time. If you're going to play KD all the time, play him all the time.
I hear something that the Nets just, that the coach doesn't like him as much as we do. That's the best I can describe it.
The coach then, and Steve Nash, by the way, his job is on the line. So maybe he should start rethinking that because you can't get a team like this to start off like they're a 500 basketball team right now. And they should be one of the best teams in the conference. So they're wrong.
They really haven't had a full lineup.
Well, in all fairness, this is a full enough lineup. This team without Kevin Durant went to the playoffs last year.
Right.
So give Karis LeVert some more love. He deserves it. He's a better player than these guys are. And stop playing all the Bruce Browns and nonsense.
That's a good point.
That's my personal thing.
Is it all right? Is it cat time yet?
It's probably getting pretty close. Did we get a confirmation? I feel like I got a notification that I didn't see what his updated thing was. I guess it was that he would play. I don't know if we can do it though. Like,
why not?
It's a hard sell for me over. Well, honestly, it would never have been.
He's saying right in at 37 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. It's a great matchup in the sense that they don't have like. I mean, Joe Val is not going to be able to do anything with him. Okay, yeah, you're right about this. Lots of plays. I think that I'm off of Luka after looking at this a little bit further. After all of my Luka love, I think I'm off of it. Yeah, Cat is definitely in play.
Did you like the Knicks, by the way? Besides Mitchell Robinson, did you like Randall or no?
I do like Randall. That's part of the issue I'm having. I feel like all these guys, but AD, Randall, Cat, Durant. It's just we're gonna have to try and pick between them. Maybe we can revisit the end of the show and sort of try and rank our early rankings. It's obviously going to change, when we hear inevitably somebody's sitting out or something. But yeah, it does feel like Cat is a really strong play, and also Minnesota's so bad that it's hard to picture. Like, my first thought with Minnesota every time you look at them, I'm worried about a blow up. But Memphis is banged up, and they're just not the same team, obviously, without Ja. So this game should stay pretty close.
Who's even favored?
Minnesota by 2.5. Probably the first time Minnesota's been favored all year, actually.
Well, because Cat's bad. I mean, Cat's an all-star. You know what I mean? He's a great player. I mean,
he's a great talent. I agree. He's a great fantasy player. I've never seen anything that lead me to believe that he's going to be I thought he coming out, he was going to be a better version of Anthony Davis. I really think he has the talent to be. I just don't think he understands how to win basketball games, and you have to at a certain point, and it's been long enough. And having your buddy D'Angelo Russell, who's literally like the succubus of anything positive in basketball, he's the worst guy you ever want to have.
He's just the worst.
How can you have Sheets today? And like, how you get a guy who gets to the line like 2 or 3 times a game and shoots the ball 20 times a game? It's like impossible. It's hard to do. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, I do like Cat, and I think we should look back for a run back potential. There's a good chance Joe Val actually gets some minutes against Cat here, and Brandon Clark is getting plenty of run. It's been sort of up and down with what he's done with it, but he definitely has a ceiling, and this is the kind of environment that you want to try and take advantage of him in. I also feel like that. Excuse me. I also feel like that with. Again, I'm going to have some DeAnthony Melton shares. I'm not entirely sure why the guy's not playing 25 minutes more than that at a game. Maybe it's because they love Bane so much. But I have some interest in DeAnthony Melton. I just think he's a better basketball player than everybody else they have to run the offense, with the potential exception of Bane. That's the one thing that they're sort of like a similar type. But maybe they figure out a way to play these guys together. But I do think Melton is sort of my long shot tournament play tonight.
You know what? This is a kind of a cool slate because if you want to play like bigs, then you could use the guard value from the New Orleans game or whatever. And if you want to play higher priced other positions, you could use the bigs from Dallas as their values. You know what I mean? So you could you could do what you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing I always do with like DeAnthony Melton. I'll put in at 22 minutes instead of 20 minutes, and even that just jumps him into being a more relevant play. But if he gets to 24. 26 one of these days, which I really expect.
What's his price, Melton?
He's 4K. And I think that Bane is the guy who's going to project better, actually. But I actually think that the real play is it just feels like too good of an environment. I don't understand it. I understand that they like Tyus Jones and he's been playing well, but is that really what you want to do with your team? Like, give DeAnthony Melton the run. Like, Tyus Jones wasn't even playing last year when these guys were healthy. It was Melton behind Ja. I don't understand exactly what switched, and they've been way worse this year. So maybe they should go back to doing it my way. But yeah, it's weird how they're spreading the minutes out, and it's I don't know why nobody's playing 30 minutes for Memphis anymore. This is not a team that needs to nurse or wait for anybody. These guys are young. Let them have their chance. And until they really start doing that, I'm not going to have a ton of interest. I do think that Kyle Anderson on FanDuel at 5,400 is definitely in play. But again, you look at these minutes and there is nobody playing 30 minutes on this team. And I just can't explain why. Dylan Brooks was playing 35 minutes last year, and it doesn't really make any sense to me. I honestly don't know what the Memphis coaching staff is doing. There's a good chance that maybe I don't know. I guess it's too early to tank, but it feels like tanking. We can move on if you want. Sorry, I was a lot of talking.
Oh, it's fine. LA, OKC. Yeah, I think this is a fine game. I mean, I think that as usual, you have your normal Laker blowout risk, right? And and I know where I want to go on OKC if I think the game will stay close, right? So Shea is priced down, I guess, for the matchup.
Everybody's priced down. I don't know what's going on today.
Yeah, so he's 7,700, and Anthony Davis is 9K, right? So those would be my two faves from the game, and then I don't think LeBron's bad either, So I don't know. I guess I could take a shot with something like that with either LeBron and Shea or Davis and Shea, but again, keep something in mind. I've said this before. Just because the game's, let's just say that I can tell you that the game's going to stay close, doesn't necessarily mean that James and Davis will smash. Remember, because one of the reasons it could stay close is because they're playing bad. You know what I mean? So it's not 100% sure that if you get the close game that you're going to win all the money.
Right.
But the thing that the close game does bring is probably lower efficiency on the Laker side, but as a result, you'll probably get more minutes out of those Laker guys, which is one of the reasons why you want the game to stay close. But I think in all cases, if the game stays close, Shea is just going to have an enormous game. You know what I mean? So yeah, fine.
there's no way Al Horford is actually going to play. We don't have that official word yet, but there's no way he's going to play. I'll just tell you that right now. I'm willing to stand by that prediction. So we got to try and figure out. We're going to have to revisit this game when the things update. If we get it by the end of the show.
You think we're gonna do Muscala again, right?
Derrick Rose also just was downgraded to questionable. So I think that it does. Yeah, it's going to be. Well, it might be Roby. They certainly seem to like this guy.
We did that happen last time, right?
The Lakers have size, but I don't know if we want to do it against this is, boy, I mean, you talk about a bad matchup. Like there is nobody I want to take these kind of bigs against less than the Lakers. But at 3,100, it's going to be a little bit hard to ignore.
Now explain that to me. Why is it such a bad matchup?
Because Marc Gasol is one of the 5 or 6 best defensive center. Well, maybe the top 10 best defensive centers of all time. Anthony Davis is one of the 3 best defenders in the NBA right now. That's my reason.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not like taking Isaiah Roby to score even 10 points, right? We're scoring him we're getting him to get like rebounds and just clean up the crap.
I mean, he can, but the thing is he can score. And honestly, he doesn't it's not like he's like a monster on the boards, but he's decent. He's decent per minute on the board. So you're fair enough. But is he? I mean, even rebounding against those guys is a nightmare. You know what I mean? To me, I don't know. I'm just telling you right now that. Hold on. Oh, there's the news. Al Horford is out.
Flight's canceled.
No, Al Horford is out.
Al Horford is out.
I called that one pretty much within a minute. But Isaiah Roby, we're gonna have to see. I honestly think it does matter who starts. But to be honest, maybe Muscala is the better play. The thing is, Roby can shoot a little bit too, but Muscala will take shots. So let's revisit this when the projections are a little bit updated now that we have the news, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. So last time I think they were so Roby played 11 when Muscala played. What was that time that we played Muscala, but then Roby started?
I also played Roby that night too, but yeah, that was the night against.
That's the night where Roby did well.
Yeah, that was Roby did well, but so did Muscala put up 20, I think, but Roby put up 33. It was against Orlando.
That was the 29th of December. If
yeah.
He put up 29, and
look, if the Lakers do end up, if Marc Gasol does play tonight, which I think he will, because he's played on every back-to-back so far this year. I think that Roby is maybe it actually isn't a bad matchup for him because Roby's sort of lengthy and he'll shoot it from the outside. So will Muscala. So both of these guys are going to be in play. It's going to come down to the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Let's revisit this. Also, one thing it does, which in a weird way, it might open up a little bit of our boy Hamidou Diallo, who's tell me, Chiefs, what is going on? Why isn't this team playing this guy 30 minutes a game? I don't understand it. I cannot explain what's happening, why he doesn't get 30 minutes a game. He's awesome.
I mean, they're moving him up a little bit. No, I mean,
no, he hasn't played any more minutes. He's been just crushing in the short minutes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Atlanta, Phoenix. We can revisit that one, and also we might revisit Detroit and try and figure out what happens without Derrick Rose.
Well, okay, we can go back to that. I mean, it's going to be us figuring out whether we want to play Sadiq Bey again or Svi or that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, probably something along those lines. But we do. I mean, Blake is in, right? Yeah, he's in tonight. So maybe the simple answer might end up just being avoiding it or playing Blake, but it feels like
the simple answer is avoiding it. I mean, that's
probably right. Yeah, especially with the blowout that's going to happen. I'm calling that one. And by the way, if Milwaukee doesn't blow them out, what the hell is wrong with Milwaukee? All right.
You know what they've been doing? Honestly, they've been letting teams just kind of hang around, and then they put up one 12-0 spurt when the game is over. That's what they've been doing. Like at halftime of all these games has been close.
Yeah.
And then there's one stretch where you just literally it's kind of scary when you think about it. There's been times I've done this. I've been watching the game and then I'll literally go get a drink, whatever. I'll come back. It'll be like a 15-point game.
I noticed that as well. Yeah, it's true.
So because they're good.
Something's weird with my system here where I can't, for some reason, get the Atlanta Phoenix game. I don't have any of my projections.
Because they're not playing?
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Why is it on the just keep it off the schedule, guys? Yeah, sorry, man. I would say it's been a long night, but it's just a confusing day. I don't really know what to do with all these weird situations.
So the New Orleans game, for me, there's the easy way and then there's the hard way. Okay, so the hard way, not the hard way. Okay, the hard way is to take is you play a chalky Nickeil Alexander Walker, who's probably going to start, and you get really super sneaky and play play JJ Redick, right? 3,300, or you play Josh Hart on FanDuel, right? Who's I think free over there. I forgot. I just remember something.
Mm-hmm.
And that, or you could be like just really easy and say, okay, I'm just going to play Eric Bledsoe. You know, like, who's like he's like an actual. You know, he could run the point. You know what I mean? He ran the point for 100 years. In his other. Why is Nickeil Alexander Walker just going to become the point guard? I'm not sure. And the other logical thing is just with you know some Lonzo usage out, just play Zion or Ingram, something like that. So I don't know. I don't know whether I want to be fancy or not fancy. I think I'll let ownership decide. I think if Walker's that chalky, I really don't need to play him. I don't think, or do I? You tell me.
I don't think so. I agree with what your assessment was about these other guards. Like they have other bodies. I will say this: he's active. I like his game. I think he'll take shots. I think without Lonzo, it does open up. It's a logical play, but I don't think he's a must-have by any means. I actually think the real must-have, and look, I do this all the time, but it's Zion for me. Zion 7,300. The price has come down. I know that we have had mixed results with him this far. I'm a little disappointed the way he's rebounding the ball. I also don't think he's in great shape, but I mean, I don't think a whole lot of this the front court the Clippers have out there. I don't think they have anybody to match up with him, and I think that he is going to beat the hell out of these guys. That's my personal take.
I just have this vision, not vision, whatever, of Lonzo being out and not being that big of a deal. I don't know why I think that, but so anyway, yeah, I agree. I like Lonzo. I like Zion. You like Zion more than Ingram?
He's a lot cheaper. That helps. But I do think Ingram's a good play in general. I'm not going to play him in this matchup. It's a terrible matchup for him. But he's definitely proven that he's worth the price tag. It's just, where's the ceiling on that price in the worst matchup he possibly could face? Whereas Zion has the monster matchup, in my opinion. I think I like what you said about Redick. I think there is a chance Redick gets on the court a bunch tonight. And obviously a guy who can just shoot his way into being valuable. So I don't mind that at all. I'm trying to think about how it's going to match up. Beverly on the other side with, boy, it's tricky a little bit. Yeah, I do like Walker, but I don't think he's a must-have. I sort of agree with you there. And yeah, basically it's going to be a Zion thing for me. I do think Ingram he's in play. It's just, I'm just going to say, like, it's a terrible matchup. It's you don't really want to take guys who are playing against Paul George and Kawhi.
I really didn't like anything from LA. You liked anything?
Nope.
Okay, move on.
Let's move on. I'm going to take a quick look, see what the price is on FanDuel for Patrick Beverly. 4K on FanDuel. I think we could do that. That's reasonable. I mean, look, if some reason Nickeil Alexander Walker gets popular over there, I think that, like, I know it's a different position, but I think Beverly is a better play there than Nickeil Alexander Walker at 4K.
Let me just see over there. I think, I don't know if I would get to any of those guys over there. What are these prices?
I don't think there's any. I mean, Josh Hart is the one who stands out, honestly, the most. And maybe that's what we're missing, Sheets. Maybe even on DraftKings he's more in play. But I definitely think on FanDuel, Josh Hart at 4,400 is really in play.
Yeah, I liked. I thought that Bledsoe on FanDuel was really strong. I thought that Hart was really strong at a terrible position.
Yeah, right? I agree with all of that.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna get to. I don't think I'm gonna get to Beverly even at 4K.
Yeah, I understand. I just throwing it out there that he's in play. I'm not.
You know who I rank ahead of him, by the way? I rank two guys that I don't play ahead of him. I rank George Hill ahead of him. And idiot Austin Rivers ahead of him.
Let's see if George Hill plays first of all.
Again with the George Hill not playing?
Hey, it's a back-to-back.
Oh, I thought it was because of
not a political thing.
I thought it was because of the political thing. Okay, fair.
No. I mean, look, you never know, but I would imagine that I imagine, like, I'm just gonna take a quick look and see what he's done. Is George Hill officially out? Yeah, it looks like he's out. Even I don't even have a projection for him. Yeah. Well, I guess that was a good call by me. But
very nice. You should get paid for that somehow.
Sometimes one of these days. Yeah. By the way, reminder, I have to talk to you about something off air. Okay, so now we've got the other spot we wanted to attack, right? The Portland New Orleans game. It's just hard to know what to do with the Portland side.
Is it hard to know to do with the Portland side? Why is it hard to know what to do with the Portland side?
Let's figure out what's happening with Nurkic. That'll obviously make a difference. But it's hard to know what to do because Damian Lillard, like, I mean, we just saw this matchup and we just talked about a bunch of guys in the 9K range that I have as better plays than Damian Lillard does, even though he was terrible against this team last time. And I think they still blew him out though, didn't they?
No, that was what came right down to the wire, I thought.
Oh, did it? Why do you only play 33 minutes? I'm sorry. Yeah, 29 minutes.
Did it not come down to the wire? Did I miss the game? I could.
That was the Toronto game. I think that came down to the wire.
Oh, okay.
But let me just take a quick.
Yeah, you're right. They won by 26 points, right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, he was 1 for 7. I mean, from 3. I mean,
yeah.
So.
I mean, but so if you're gonna rank him versus AD versus Kevin Durant versus all these other guys, it just feels like the wrong play. But
but Tim, at least he's got a shot to play though. I mean, like I give him a better. I don't know. I think I make him just as good as Davis, right? Considering blowout risk on the Davis.
What about Randall and Durant also?
No, man. Maybe Durant's better than him, but
okay.
I'm open to it. I think I like him better than the other one.
The one ceiling game that he put up this year, I just want to say that and that's what he'll do. But he was absolutely unconscious in that game, and that was against the worst defensive team in the NBA by far, Minnesota. That's the only game. It was kind of annoying. It's the one night he goes off the entire year. He's chalky.
So play the other ones. So play. I have McCollum just as good. I mean, play him.
It's crazy the numbers McCollum is putting up this year. He's been unbelievable.
You called that 2 years ago. I mean,
yeah, there's no way in the world that I can play him on this slate. I don't think at 8,600. Maybe if Nurkic is out. It is interesting. Like, we have to figure out what happens with Nurkic because Cantor obviously would be a really strong play just because he dominates. He crushes when he's in there. If he's going to play, if his minutes go from 20 to 28. He's going to put up 35 fantasy points, probably more times than not. That's what will happen, especially in a supremely great matchup. We also have Robert Covington, who's just the guy who never, ever gets there.
He just doesn't do anything. I mean, he plays minutes. He just doesn't. You know what sucks about it is he doesn't do anything.
He's a good real life player, but there's no usage on this team. McCollum and Lillard take it all up. Even Nurkic is a high usage guy in the past. He gets no usage either with these guys on the court because and rightfully so. These are the best players on the team.
Yeah. So if he's out, first of all, when are we going to know if he's out? That's a good. All these are good questions, considering that we have options at center. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
considering that there's we have Boban / Willie Cauley-Stein / Cat / you know what I mean. There's a lot of stuff at center that we need to decide before we know what's going to happen with the Portland game. And it's not as if I particularly want to play Nurkic, right? If he's playing, so if so what do you do here if there's?
I don't mind playing Nurkic, by the way, if he does play.
He's fine, but
no, I think that I don't think we've seen the real full upside, and I think we were starting like he put up 34 against these guys when they blew him out. He only took 8 shots in that game. I know he had some steals and blocks,
right?
But that's what you're going to get against the Sacramento team. They're going to blaze fast. And part of the reason I'm focusing on Portland so much is I really like De'Aaron Fox. Like, I don't know how you don't play him tonight. It's just 7,400 is a joke. We finally feel comfortable about his minutes again because he played 38 in the last game. So I think we can just go right back to De'Aaron Fox and just like. I mean, I don't want to use the word lock, but he's as close to a lock as Durant. Him and Durant are like, I don't know what we're doing if we're not playing these guys.
It's a very, what did I say? A very, very, very nice price tag. It's the best thing.
It's beautiful. It feels like, honestly, it feels like safe with like too. I don't feel like any risk of him not getting there. I really don't. But I have no interest in anybody else on Sacramento. How about you?
No. No, not really.
Different slate, maybe Bagley, but not tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, so let's take a quick look.
What do you think? What do you think he's going to be owned?
Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be owned.
People
are not they'll just take a quick look and see that he played 38 minutes in the last game, that they're playing against a fast team that doesn't play defense, and he'll be owned.
You know who could be? I mean, because there's I don't know, say pivots, but if he's like too highly owned, I mean, we can go back to Shea, but
I think Shea's a great play as well. I don't think you have to necessarily pick and choose between those guys. You can they're both affordable enough. It's not a great matchup, obviously, for Shea, but 7,700 is definitely a fair price.
Yeah, I only have a couple of ownership things in, so I don't really have anything.
Yeah.
I have a couple, but not really.
I'm just guessing. I mean, I don't have anything.
Gotta be. I mean, everybody sees what we see, right? I mean, like.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk though again about the so we lost Horford. I just want to revisit that for a second. I'm not sure that we have to do anything with this.
Well, here we have. I mean, we have all these. You know, we have those big values, right? We have the bigs. We have the Dallas bigs, and now the OKC bigs are now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Roby, man. I think we actually do need to maybe get some Roby. Shoot.
But how do you prioritize him over Willie Cauley-Stein and Boban, for example?
Because for one, over Boban, because we know he's going to play. Willie Cauley-Stein, they seem reluctant to like give him ever 30 minutes, and he's more expensive. Whereas Roby is probably going to play. I mean, look, the Lakers. The flip side of what I was saying about the matchup being terrible is that George Hill does have a projection. That's weird. He didn't before. I think Roby is they're just going to have to play big. Like you can't, against the Lakers, you can't play small. So you're going to have to get minutes from this guy. And honestly, like there's just almost no way that Muscala is going to be able to guard these guys. But I do think he's like an interesting pivot off of Roby. But Roby is the mega chalk now, and it makes a lot of sense the more I think about it, because there's just no way that he won't be on the court against these Lakers. No way. So he's better than all of them. That's my answer.
Okay, that's going to be a big call then. I mean, because I think that maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe Willie Cauley-Stein won't be quite as.
I don't see the Willie Cauley-Stein thing as much as you do, because he's not doing that much, and he hasn't played one game where Porzingis is in there, and he still has only played. His ceiling is high for minutes is 26, and he's only averaging 19.
You know, and I talked it through too. I mean, between James Johnson maybe playing some 5 and Porzingis maybe playing some 5, and you know, Boban getting some run over there. It's not as if Willie Cauley-Stein's going to get 30 minutes. You know?
Right. And James Johnson became a worse play the second that, you know, we look at Roby like now. Like I just feel much better about Roby than all these guys personally, assuming he's starting, of course.
So I feel as though tonight is not. I think I can win tonight, because I don't think it's going to be 400 points tonight. I think that
as a good friend of mine says, are you sure about that?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Good question. It's a good question. You get Durant to blow up. You get how are these guys really putting up big numbers tonight? There's Durant. Is Luka? Is that really going to be a big high scoring game?
I'm actually out on Luka a little bit from where we started the show at, just because
Giannis really going to get 35 minutes is
right.
I think the more you look at it, I think like
don't
you really have to play Durant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you do have some value, so people are going to be able to overspend on these guys, or however you want to call it. But like if you get, I mean, if Nickeil Alexander-Walker or JJ Redick get there for you, and you've got Roby and Johnson, then they get there for you.
And what else do you get? But what do you get for that? You know what I mean? You're going to play Kawhi or something like that?
You get Kevin Durant.
Right, no, besides him is what I'm saying.
Kevin Durant, De'Aaron Fox, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis. Let's see who else I've got on my list here. I actually think this is going to be a fun slate. Kind of disappointed that I mean, Shea is too cheap. I'm just looking real quick.
Well, I'm just saying that what big scores are going to come out. That's all. I mean,
well, I think the thing is that with the value, you're just going to get there, because if these guys put, that's why the scoring was so high last night, because the value all got there.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I really feel as though that value from last night was exceedingly valuable. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know if tonight's is on that level.
I agree, but again, it's still early. We don't know.
It is still early.
No. I even got my Edmund Sumner starting, by the way, which actually was kind of like a downside.
Hey, forget that you got him starting. I don't know if he got there or whatever.
He didn't.
But he's good.
He's good. He's a good basketball player.
Good. I was watching. He's good. He first of all, when he went in there, his total goal was to freaking shot. They were playing box and one on Curry, and he was basically chasing him all over the court.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to score, by the way, when you do that.
That's true. I thought about that too for a little bit. I thought Holiday would get some minutes on Curry, and
Holiday instead just got the chance to score every time he touched the ball.
Yeah, I know. It was a weird slate. This slate feels a little bit more straightforward. Hopefully it doesn't change too much, because I have to go to my doctor, and I'm not going to be able to play as many lineups, but I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in that. Let me just ask you one thing. I don't want to usually talk about positions on DraftKings, but what do you do at small forward? It might just come down to maybe people just play, and maybe I just play LeBron.
Well, let me see if I ranked my guys.
Have any small forward that we really love that we talked about a bunch of players. We didn't talk about any small forwards.
Or more to the point, small forward eligible, right?
Yeah. JJ Redick. There's a little bump over.
My first small forward, my best small forward is Ingram. Oh no, is LeBron, like you said.
Yeah.
LeBron, then Ingram. And then if you really want, I mean, I'm just talking about without going to deep value, then you could play, you want to go back to your Gordon Hayward idea?
Like, that's what I'm talking about. This is where it doesn't feel like such a great.
And then if you go just on pure value, then wow, this is really interesting. So the way I'm looking at it, if you even forget everything else, if you just sort by point per dollar, okay, Redick's going to be number one, whatever.
Right.
But the next one I'd have is LeBron.
Yeah. Yeah. LeBron is, I mean, it's too cheap. What else can you say? I mean,
you know who else is a decent value over there is at that position is Gary Trent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you didn't wake up this morning really wanting to play Gary Trent, but I mean,
just because the other stuff, I think I want to. I wonder if there's a way. I mean, look, Josh Hart is a little too expensive, but this guy has a high floor. He's going to get 10 rebounds tonight. I'll bet you on that one. Like he's a rebounding machine, and you take just even Lonzo off the court, give him some extra minutes. There's no way he's not going to get 10 rebounds tonight, in my opinion.
Well, let's go to FanDuel. Let's do the okay. It's really interesting. Like when I sort these this way, how they look. That's so weird.
Boy. This small forward thing is no joke.
Right.
I don't like any of these things. I really don't. I'm trying to figure out if there's a path that you can play Alexander Walker and Redick. I think it's too thin, but it's not like they couldn't play on the court together.
So I think on FanDuel at point guard, if you don't want to play Luka, and Luka's totally fine, probably the best play, right? Mm-hmm. And I get suckered into this all the time. I just see Lillard and Fox at the same position, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna play them both, and let's just roll, you know. So that those would be my next two, and then my next best, you know, before you go into value would be LaMelo. Mm-hmm. But if you really wanted to, let's see, is it worth it to really pay down? Yeah, then you're back to Elf Payton season. And you're telling me George Hill might be out, you said?
I just was speculating that it's a back-to-back. I'm looking right now. I don't believe he played. Oh, no, he didn't play any this year so far.
Yeah, so maybe.
That also opens, like, I mean, that's just even more stuff for that OKC team in a terrible matchup. Jeez, that sucks.
You know, and then more point guard, Austin Rivers, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to play him.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so let me just look at my FanDuel projections because. Okay, so point guard, I think De'Aaron Fox is just so much better than everybody else. Elfrid Payton would be my next favorite by far. I don't see the other guys as much as being great plays. I like the LaMelo thing a little bit. Lillard is fine. Like he can, obviously we know he's got a ceiling. And Luka, like, I don't really know if I'm going to play anybody else other than those guys. Maybe if you want to get into taking some shots, we could take, a shot on Beverly, but that doesn't feel right either. It is worth noting that in games that are closer, maybe with Cat, Ricky Rubio is probably going to get more run as opposed to less. I actually think he benefits from Cat being back because they're actually playing basketball, trying to win basketball games, and not letting idiots like D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards try and take over games. Elf is too cheap. Elf does the same thing every time, Sheets. Every time I look through the first quarter, he's got -2 points on FanDuel. But then by halftime, he's at 16 or 17. And then by the end of the game, he's got 30 or 25, It's not beautiful. It doesn't feel great, but he's playing the minutes. It's a great matchup. 5,700 is still too cheap for him over there, in my opinion. So I think I like Elf on FanDuel.
Shooting guard, Eric Bledsoe stands out as probably the best point per dollar play, maybe in any position, actually.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe on DraftKings too. Maybe we didn't give him enough love on DraftKings.
And then if you don't want to, not if you don't want to do that, because you can play two. You can play as many as you want, but you know what I could do? I could one day tell my grandchildren I played CJ McCollum at 9,200.
Yeah,
it's tough, man.
Basically, it actually sounds like what you. Yeah, that's what you'd have to say to them.
Yeah,
man, big tournaments tonight. Why do I make my doctor's appointments on these days? This looks like a great slate, and I think it's going to be really interesting. And I think there's some edge here. I actually feel better than I've felt about any of the slates we've done the last 2 days.
88. Oh, these are really expensive. Yeah, I think. Ooh, you could go back to Buddy Hield at 5K.
Yeah.
Does he have a ceiling anymore? I mean,
yes, he does. He just can't. He
can't not, is what you're saying, right?
He has to. He can't. It's just. It's not like there's anybody to take away. It doesn't make any sense, man. It makes no sense. They got rid of the one thing stopping him. And the truth is, though, like basically, what 40% of his games he's put up over 30 fantasy points on FanDuel.
Oh,
and he's 5K.
Yeah,
that's good enough for me. I don't need much else than that. It's weird though. Like you look at the last game. Why? He's become such a 3-point shooter that he doesn't take any other shots anymore. And that's what bothers me about him. There's you need him to make shots, but he's going to take enough of them. Like, listen to this for last game. He's 6 for 11 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3. The previous game, 3 for 10 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, 6 for 14. So basically like 80% of his shots are coming from 3-point range. I mean, this is nuts. Maybe even higher. And there's no reason he needs to play like that. Why is he like this? But yeah, I agree. Buddy Hield would be the guy for me over here.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put some guys in. All right. So small forward. Durant is the best play. On a point per dollar basis, is that when we have to go to Josh Hart? Yeah, probably, right? So those well, that's one spend up and one whatever. So it would be Durant and then Hart, I think.
I just got offered, literally as we're talking, a trade for, this is the worst trade offer I've ever heard in my life. It was Jamal Murray and Buddy Hield.
Season-long NBA?
Yeah, Jamal Murray and Buddy Hield for, get this, Zach LaVine and Kobe White. And you can go ahead and F yourself. There's no way that trade's ever happening.
You give up Zach LaVine and Kobe White and you get what?
Buddy Hield and Jamal Murray.
No, you
can't. Out of here.
Can't really.
Somebody in our league, Jamal Murray was picked 2 rounds before Zach LaVine in our league. And I just said, what the hell is the matter?
Why do you have them both?
Why do I have them both? Because they both go nuts.
Okay.
And I got Zach LaVine in like the 6th round. I mean, I'm serious. He's like a top 10 fantasy guy.
I would never get him in the top 6 in the 6th round because I would draft him in the 4th.
No, you would have taken him. You're like, I don't care if it's reaching. He's my 1st round pick. Forget Anthony Davis. Forget LeBron. I want Zach LaVine. Not really top 10. He's like a top 30 fantasy guy, I should say. But wait, so okay, do we get small forward done?
Oh, I said that if you want to spend up, you play Durant, or you go down to Josh Hart.
Yeah, it's really, I almost feel biased because I watched Durant play too much lately, and he looks like he's like, I mean, I've never seen him this assertive, like ever. Yeah. And he's running the show. He's a triple-double machine, I think. Well, not a triple-double machine. He's a triple-double waiting to happen, I should say. I think that you're going to see a lot of those come in his near future. I do like him a lot. And I actually think that, I could argue that Kevin Durant should be priced right up there with the top guys with the way that things are set up right now. He should be maybe 10-5, 10-8, 10 right with Giannis and Luka right now. I really think so. So I love Durant. The problem is you're not getting any ownership there. And I think the best play is Josh Hart, though, right?
Yep.
And then Kyle Anderson would be the next one for me, along with RJ Barrett. And after that, it sort of drops off a little bit for me.
A power forward, the value play is James Johnson at 4,200.
Yes. What about Isaiah Roby?
I didn't get to him yet.
They're about. I feel like they're basically the same to me.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I think Roby might be a little bit better, but
what's his price?
41.
Yeah. And then if you wanted to spend a little bit more, I mean, you could not a little bit more, a lot more. You're between Randall, Davis,
Jesus.
Or you play Zion at 7,700 if you want to do that. But
yeah,
I think Randall is very reasonable.
I would put Randall and Zion really close. Yeah, I think they're really good plays, especially if you're going to play KD. To get the little run back with Randall feels pretty nice.
Yeah.
And like, we could play the Covington at 48. And again, I'm just going to mention Brandon Clark, a guy I really like in this matchup, even though I don't feel like it's a safe play, but I do think there's a lot of upside there. Center, what are we doing at center?
Yeah, so the guy who is showing up as the top, play is Cat at 10-5, but something about it, I don't know, something about it bothers me, but that's what it is. But I'll tell you who my top point per dollar guy is. For what it's worth, is Brook Lopez.
Yeah, I get that.
So I don't know.
But I get it.
I don't know.
Yeah, like he did put up 35 in the last time they played this team, and it's the only time he put up over 25 this season, or 26. Yeah, he fits. He actually matches up well. I think that I would rather just spend a little bit more and play Mitchell Robinson.
What's his price?
$6K.
Yeah,
it's more than a little bit more. It's more. Yeah, it's another ugly night a little bit at center, huh? Like I feel like center on FanDuel is
Willie Cauley-Stein is 5K.
Yeah, we need to find out about the Nurkic news too, because that would open up Cantor, or if he's in it, I actually think he's reasonable. I don't think Willie Cauley-Stein is in play for me on FanDuel. Now, look, he'll end up in my big lineup, of course, after I said that. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, can you play guys like Bledsoe and Hart together?
Yes, absolutely. I actually think Hart might even be a better play on FanDuel than Bledsoe is. I know Bledsoe's a great play too, but I think they're both awesome plays. It doesn't feel great to play, two players from that team against a good defensive team because New Orleans already plays slow anyway. But the minutes should be very, very secure. By the way, if for some reason, just keep an eye on Eric Bledsoe. But he's a game time decision. He's got that eye thing. Just there's always a chance that he doesn't end up playing. So if he doesn't, then we kind of have to play the other guards. We have to play Hart, we have to play Redick, and we have to play Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Okay.
All right, I think we're pretty much there, man. Are you good?
Yeah, we're good. So are you going to play there's a big one tonight on on FanDuel?
Which is the big one? I just saw 555.
No, there's a bigger one. I think there's a 1650. Oh, but it's only pay for first. Okay.
I played that one yesterday. It's like a smaller field tournament. I really made some bad late minute decisions on that one.
Well, I'll tell you this though, they're the state of the industry, man. It's almost filled.
It always does. The 1650.
Okay.
It sells out really, really quick. And the FanDuel big buy-ins tend to do that a lot, actually.
The Monster is still pretty safe. I mean, it's still less than half the people.
Yeah. It's the 1650. I only play that if it's 100.
They're tempting me here.
What?
Whether I use 500 to go like 150 entries in the $3, or just put one into 555 and just I don't know.
I'll tell you what, the mental stress that comes with playing that $3 tournament, it's not worth it to me because all the shifting and late minute things and all that. It's just there's too much action.
Pick your best lineup, put in the 555, and be done with it. Right.
That's what I'm going to do tonight. Well, I have no choice because I'm going to be the doctor, but I actually feel good about that. I've been doing that a little bit more lately, and it's actually worked out really well.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, for Sheets, I'm Bobby saying good luck out there tonight, and we will see you at the top of the leaderboards.
So I'll see you guys.